Hello and welcome to week 2. I hope your first week went well and that you're ready to get started on reviewing the materials for week 2. In week 2, we take a look at the affective domain because this is very important to your upcoming assignment, preparing a reflection on culturally sensitive feedback. Remember that I've changed that so that it is due on week 4. And you have till the end of the week to get that in on the 8th. So week 4, but due on Sunday of that week. That will give you plenty of time to think about writing this paper and to do the reading that you need to do. I've prepared a document that may help you called Writing a Reflection Paper. And that is here when you open it. It tells you that writing a reflection provides an opportunity for you to critically engage with and connect to reading. Your focus will be on probably more than one particular passage in this case. But remember, this is a dialogue between you and what you have read. Although this is not a formal research paper, it should be coherent and organized. Okay, so take a look at these guidelines. I'm not going to read them all to you. And think about these as you begin to prepare your reflection. Because keep in mind, a reflection is not a summary of somebody else's work. We're talking about your thoughts on the issue of providing culturally sensitive feedback, but taking into consideration what you will read in Chapter 5 as well. I've given you a supplement, a site that discusses strategies relating to the affective domain, and we can take a look at that. And this is an excellent site. It first discusses the affective domain and why it's so critical. Specifically, the domains of learning that Benjamin Bloom first identified: cognitive, psychomotor, and then affective. So it goes on to explain the importance of the affective domain, of the student's feelings, of the student's feelings about his or her ability to learn, what we normally think of as self-esteem, motivation, the ability to be positively engaged. So, of course, we know how important this is. So if you scroll down, you'll see some very generic but good strategies. And they say that these are good for everybody, not just second language learners. Obviously, creating a comfortable classroom structure is very important. How do you arrange the chairs in your room? How do you arrange the desks if you have that option to do that so that you can promote interaction? How do you foster an inclusive atmosphere? How do you establish trust? What do you do to make learning fun? How do you help your students to understand the different cultures in your room? How do you express the expectations for your classroom? How do you model these? Do you look at a needs assessment for your school or your classroom? What else might you do? Here are some suggestions for instructional practice. The strategy of building cross-cultural awareness with some ideas of how to do it. How to build trust and respect with a learning activity. Several learning activities. So take a look at these, see if these are meaningful to you or they could have some place in your particular classroom. And you might reflect on those. I've included a short video from YouTube on multicultural education. There are many such videos on YouTube if you were to Google and look. And I did that in case you don't have the text, but unfortunately it is no substitute for the wonderful videos that are in our text. So I do hope that you have purchased the electronic text. Let me click to our text, and this is what it looks like electronically. Hopefully you have the same access. And this chapter, as I said, is very, very important, chapter 5, because here we are going to make and look at the cultural connections. So the purpose of this chapter is to provide you with information about how to create a learning environment that's emotionally and culturally responsive to learners, one that will enhance self-esteem. And I'm not going to click through the entire chapter with you, but I want you to especially look at these videos as you're reading. They make the most sense if you do them in this order. Look at the examples that are given, steps that you can take. Which of these do you already do? Again, things that you can reflect on. Writing activities, various literature activities, all kinds of things that maybe you already do or maybe you would like to include in your classroom that you haven't thought of yet. So as you read this chapter, think about that, think and make the connection for your reflection. Now, you'll notice that there is a link for video resources, and I can go directly to chapter 5, and by clicking on these, you will get short videos that I am sorry are not available anyplace else other than in this area. But they are quite good, especially the startup one on multicultural education. But I would certainly take the time to look at each of these because they are important and they do supplement your reading in a wonderful and real way. So let's go back to our course and just quickly click on the discussion board. So for week 2, reflect on the idea of culturally sensitive feedback in the classroom. How can a teacher ensure for this practice during instruction? So what you think about here certainly can help you with the cultural sensitivity paper that you will be writing. You might also take a look at the course materials. And again, you have the PDF on the reflection, how to write an article review, if that's helpful to you, and other information that we'll be using going forward. The websites, remember, are things that I find interesting. Hopefully you will as well. Center for Applied Linguistics, very, very useful. Color in Colorado, for those of you who are English language teachers or have English language learners in your classroom, this should be definitely a must for you. Edutopia, one of my favorite sites from George Lucas, yes, the creator of Star Wars. And then where I collect everything, Scoop It, which I tried to show you online. So that pretty much wraps up my review for this week. I hope you are doing well. I hope you are enjoying the information and that you are thinking about your lessons and your planning and your calendars that you need to get ready going forward. We do have a chat next week at 8 p.m. on the 26th, so I do hope you will be able to join me. We will be discussing in greater detail this cultural sensitivity reflection, and those of you who are online will get to see some samples as well. So with that, I wish you a very good week. Remember, you know how to contact me, faculty contact. You've got my email, my phone number, And I'm not quite sure why this item is not available. I certainly hope it is. If you don't see that when you go online, please let me know because I certainly see it. Okay. Well, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I hope to see you on Monday.